Now, I'm a high school dropout, okay? I struggled with school. I didn't like this stuff, okay? Like, this wasn't me. Like, I was the partier. Let's skip school. Like, let's not do our homework. Who cares about freaking tests? That was the kid that I was. I left school and dropped out, and I didn't tell my fucking mom, okay? Hey guys, it's Justin here. It's the Just Relax Show, and I want to say I've had an awesome day today. I was at work. Got to spend some time with my son. It was a long day, busy day, but grateful to be here, and just just excited to keep pushing forward and doing what I have to do to improve myself, seeking that positivity every single day. But let's get right into it. I do have a few interviews that are getting ready to happen here. That's pretty exciting. A couple close friends that been through a lot, really good guys. Grateful that they're willing to come out here and talk on the show. I'm in the works of getting something bigger done. I've already been in contact with the person. We'll get more into that later when we get a date confirmed and everything like that. But outside of that, today I've been thinking a lot like of my past and just growing up between my childhood and early adulthood, and it's just like thinking back going, wow, there's been a lot. Yeah, like a lot. Like when I look back at it, there's so much I can recall and remember, and it's kind of crazy to think about because you don't realize how much all this stuff affects you, and it's little things that are from 20 years ago, 15 years ago, and it's like you're still thinking about them, or they still somehow come up relevant in your life, even though it's not like affecting you, but you realize, hey, maybe that's why I started acting a certain way or why I did certain things. And ultimately, when you figure that out, it's like it's kind of a relief. And it's as if like now you could actually start fresh. And that's the cool thing because all these thoughts as a growing up, like I remember like vivid things from when I was a little kid. Nothing bad, nothing crazy like that, but just vivid things from like being a little kid to actually going into like school and starting school and just seeing those certain life changes or how my life was in those certain moments. Like I did go through some hard times. Um, I've experienced all sorts of types of living situations and all that. So it's like when I look back and think about those things or think about, you know, how hard my parents tried, how hard my mom tried and did everything that she could. It was a lot. Now as a parent myself, it is a lot. I do the best that I can for all my kids and for areas that I do lack, I try to improve on. I don't leave those areas like like I'm blind to it. No, I try to push myself to make myself the best parent I can be and be the best person that I could be because I watched my mom struggle. I watched my dad struggle, seen a lot. And, we did have family there to be there for us and help us out when we really needed it. Life was a struggle. Currently, life is still a struggle. I'm not saying my life is easier that I got it made, because I'm far I'm far from that. But it's like it's like seeing that struggle and then having that struggle be in my present day and experiencing it myself in like their shoes, it's like, damn, I love you guys. And that's my biggest thing. Then I look at the things that I put myself through, a lot of my own choices because of like resentment of not understanding what my family was doing, of like I used to live in New Jersey, and that's kind of like where I grew up. Like that was like my starting point. I was born in Jersey City, raised in Tom's River. Uh, I can't say raised because I moved here in Florida in 2007. I'm only 28, so I was 10, 11, and like when I moved, I didn't want to move. So at that current time, I was going through a lot. It was adjusting to a new school, a completely new area, and all my parents were really doing was trying to better my life, better my situation because in New Jersey, it wasn't that good. There wasn't like the family was there, yeah, of course, we had close family friends, we had blood family, all of them were there. Everybody was so loving and all that, but when I look at like what my living situation really was like in more than one spot, it was a struggle. It was like a serious struggle, and there was hardships between my parents. There was those battles. So it was like, what do we do? And initially, they took that route of like, hey, let's start fresh. And I don't necessarily blame them for that because it's not like we left and came down here with nothing. We had family, and they were there for us still, but it was that fresh start that we needed. We still struggled while we were here, of course, but we had a good life. We the things a normal kid should be able to do and have, and that was enjoyable. I'm not saying I never lived without power, because that did happened on more than one occasion, but I don't feel like those were bad times. Like, yeah, they were hard times, but they weren't really bad. You know, there was still so much good happening around us that didn't really affect us. I wasn't mad at my mom at that time. Um, but when I was like resentful or mad per se, it was initially like it was that move. It wasn't that I had any feeling towards like bad feelings towards like the new family or anything like that, but it was just like I felt displaced, and I got reckless as a kid. I started getting in trouble left and right. I would skip school. I would be getting referrals, getting suspended. And, I was always coming home, and it was just one issue after another. I mean, I remember being grounded for 6 months at a time, and not having a single thing in my room. And it wasn't because my parents wanted to be mean to me. It was like, well, shit, I kind of asked for it. So what do I expect? And that was just me being resentful and not understanding that my parents were looking out for me and wanting to do what's best for me. And I hate to say it, but they were right. I caused a lot of self-inflicted pain, and those times were not fun. We moved down here. I started getting in trouble a lot. Knock on wood, I've never been arrested or anything like that. I've been close, so I know what it feels like. I've after After middle school, I did my partying a little bit more. I got into things I shouldn't have got into. I lived a life. It was an experience. But realistically, I fell down that rabbit hole just like most people do, and it's as fun as it may seem, is a sad experience in the long run. And I say that, and it hurts me to say that because it was so close to falling down and not being able to get back up. Anybody that's been there before, I mean, if if you've been an addict and you've excessively used anything, or if you've sold drugs and got caught up by the cops, or disappointed all your family and felt like you were disowned, and like you kind of just were a combination of all three of those things at once, like that shit hurts. And when you look back at that and go, hey, who was the cause of all that pain? Like, who did this? And you go, damn, Justin, that was you? Well, fuck. Like, you knew better. You know these things. It's not like you weren't taught. And I mean, I fell hard. I mean, was selling things I wasn't supposed to be selling. And yeah, was it a luxurious moment of my life? Oh, of course. Yeah, it's not that I wasn't able to do things, but it's just like everything that I lost and everything that I had to go through, that was not fun. That was not worth it. I mean, look at it this way. I was selling pounds of pot. I was selling coke, not much, but enough, and I'm using at the same time. Like I'm a genius, right? Exactly, because that's what we do. We're gonna we're gonna go sell a whole bunch of pot and whole bunch of coke, and we're gonna do the coke, and we're gonna drink on top of it, and we're gonna just you know do those binges. Like, let's have a fucking good old time. Like, there's no responsibility. Like, you don't gotta worry about anything, and you end up being fucking strung out, and that shit sucks. Like, that shit, like, in that moment I didn't realize how much that shit was affecting me, but I am so glad that my fallout happened when it did. Like, if I didn't lose, I don't want to say lose because I didn't really lose anybody, but in that moment I lost a lot of friends, a lot of family for a good section of time. But I don't blame them. I needed that. So as my selling and my using became excessively worse, my actions were out of check. I'm speaking to my mom in ways I shouldn't speak to her. Staying up late. I'm sleeping in, cheating. Just like, think about it, and yeah, that's me. That was me, and that's really shitty to think about. I had put my mom through hell. I had put my brothers and sisters through hell. Put my own kids through hell in that sense. They were, but still, they didn't know. But they shouldn't have had to go through any of that or seen me like that. Like, a lot of things that have gone wrong are my own doing, and I look at that, and I don't back down. I'm not shying away from it by any means. But I realize that, and it's like that's the biggest thing, and I remember I remember the fallout actually. I had gotten into a huge argument with my mom. I think I told her I wound up yelling at her and I told her to fuck off or something like that. And it turned into a huge screaming battle at that point. Go figure, my own fault. I left, I didn't continue, I was strung out, but I wasn't like so far out of it that like I was just going to keep going back and forth with my mom. Like after a couple minutes, I kind of knew I was in the wrong. So I left, but I still was doing the stupid stuff. I went and picked up Coke. I went to the beach all day and then left the beach. I went home. I didn't go home. Dropped off the person I was with. And while I started heading home, heading to drop the person off that I was with, and we had gotten pulled over because I did a leaning stop. That's like when you come up to a stop sign and you don't fully stop, like you stop for a second. It's like you're getting up to the stop sign, you look both ways and you just keep going. So yeah, I did that whole maneuver, and there you go. There's a cop sitting. Now this is the thing. If I was sober, I would have fully stopped. Better yet, would have looked and seen the cop because he was sitting in the median, not even a block away from me. So it's like he was in my sight range. It's not like I couldn't see him. I wasn't paying attention. And whoop whoop, there's the lights, and right then and there, I knew I'm screwed. I knew it. I knew it. So I pulled over, and I got so much stuff in my car. So much stuff. I mean, I had ammunition to guns. I had little baggies. I had a scale. I had the coke on me. I had a little bit of ecstasy on me. Pretty much the cops could have just had a field day with me. And they did. They definitely did. But I lucked out. They weren't the cleanest of cops, and they gave me a fake ticket and they sent me home. I sat in the back of a cop car from 11:30 at night till 3:30 in the morning relatively. And I thought that was it. I can get into plenty of more details, but I'm just trying to cut the story short just because there's so much I can say, and it's crazy. So they wind up letting me go because they weren't the cleanest of cops. So I went home. They gave me a ticket, right, for doing this leaning stop, which rightfully I did do a leaning stop. I do remember the day like it was yesterday, and it was, let me see, about 7 years ago. This was, yeah, 7 years, and I remember it like it was yesterday. Yeah, I did do that leaning stop. I 100% did it. Like that ticket should have not been a bogus ticket, but thank God, you know, I had an angel looking out for me or something because there is no there's no way I should have not ended up in jail that night. Better yet, locked away for a couple years with everything that I had on me and all that. So I completely lucked out. I lucked out and still fell flat on my face. It's not like I got away. They let me go, and that was it. That was it. I was like, all right, because at this point, I'm not that dumb. I know they're gonna follow me around. I know they're gonna, follow my family around, and it's just going to be a mess if I were to continue to sell. Okay, so I stopped selling. Needless to say, I've already like ruined it with my family. My mom was letting me stay there for the night, and by the end of the night, I'm all fucking coked up again. I'm not selling anymore, but I'm just like, screw it, Justin. Like, let's just, you know, that was me. That was the phase I was freaking in, and like I said, I was falling deep into that freaking rabbit hole. And I think I had gotten into an argument with one of my brothers or sisters, and that was it. That was it for my mom. She had enough. You know, my second daughter's mother left with my because of how I was acting and all that. And that was a big hit on me. My mom kicked me out. My family didn't talk to me. Me and my stepdad, I call him my dad. Me and him still talked every now and then, but for the most part, the family didn't want nothing to do with me. So after that night, it was, and I remember my mom sent me a text. She said, "Your shit will be out by the curb," and sure enough, my shit was out by the curb, and it wasn't a good feeling. I mean, it was a flat screen TV. I had pieces like bowls and bongs that were broken, knickknacks and shit that I've collected up over time, just all thrown out there, and it was just a shit feeling. And I went from motel to motel pretty much. Like, that sucked. Like, I'm at rock bottom. I'm using drugs. I lose one kid and holding on to try to keep my oldest in my life at that point. But like, what the hell do I got to offer? Realistically, what the hell do I have to offer? I get it, it's not about the money, it's about the time. But look at the person that I am at that time. What the hell do I have to offer? Nothing. Something's got to change. Something had, you know, it wasn't easy. I was in a toxic relationship while I was in that phase of my life, and it was like, I'm doing the wrong thing. Know that this isn't what I should be doing, and it's like, in one ear, out the other. And then it got so bad that one day, I, me and the girl I was with, she would she'd be strung out just like me. Both of us trying to figure out where we're gonna go get some shit, and she would leave and she would be gone for hours on end. Which, I mean, what the fuck can you expect? And that doesn't mean I was in the right state of mind either, because I'm still strung out, fucking wanting the same shit that she wants. But she had gotten back that morning, and it turned into a fight, and that was it. I was tired of having things thrown at me. I was tired of having to dodge things, or like eat a punch to the face. It's like, that's not who I am. And I called my old neighbor from when I was a kid, because I used to work with him all the time. I called him up. He was the first person I could think of. I said, "Mr. Kev, can you can you come pick me up, please?" And God bless him, man, because he did. He did, and I went right back to my mom's house. And at this time, actually, it wasn't even my mom's house. I went to my sister's house, and me being her brother, she she let me in. It was nice, and I'm very grateful for that. And that's kind of where I started over again. And now we're at this time we're in like 2019 now. And then I would ask myself repeatedly all the time, how are we going to start making some sort of difference in your life, you know? And I was depressed, you know? It was I already had lost everything and I got thrown to the curb and I couldn't do nothing, you know? I was already too far down for me to do anything. And now finally I'm home, so to say. But I'm still depressed because I got nothing to give. You know, I'm not working at my best capacity still. I'm still kind of in that withdrawal phase. Per I don't know I don't know what step to take. It turns into, turns into more little inspiration, and that's where the Just Relax came from. Because I started skimboarding more, I started skateboarding more. That was my release. Like it was like, okay, cool, everything's cool now. Like all my stress, all my worries gone out the door. So I pursued it a little bit. I mean, I had made a page, all that stuff. It's all gone now. But I kind of pushed for it and it helped me. But I still had to get life going. Like that wasn't changing my life. That was taking the stress off my shoulders, you know? So I still had to get up and make something of myself. I can't go to the beach and sit at the beach all day. I can't go skateboard at the skate park all day. Like this isn't a real thing. Like I got to give them a life. And I'm working I'm working a half-ass job, not getting paid shit to pour seawalls, and it wasn't fun. It wasn't it's backbreaking if you're not used to it, but at this time I was so used to doing construction and pouring the concrete and all that stuff. And by the time I had this job, it was nothing. But I wasn't being paid much. I wasn't getting paid anything, and it was just like, come on, man, you need to make something of yourself. Like it's time to get the ball rolling. You're freaking 21 years old. Like figure it out. So I had called one of my very close friends. He's like my brother. I've known him for years. He was out climbing the cell phone towers, and I said, "Hey man, how can I get doing that?" And he told me, he said, if we wind up needing somebody and my boss asks me, he said, I'll throw your name out there and see what happens. And he said, but you got to be ready to go. And I kind of didn't know what that meant at that time. And he's like, look, he said, when I call you and say, hey, it's go time, like my boss is going to call you in a couple hours, that means your bags are packed, you're getting on a plane, and you're going across the country. And it was like, okay, this is what I'm choosing to do. Good, you know. I mean, it hurt. It hurt, I left pretty much everybody, it's not like I left them and I was gone for good. No, but I left, to make something of myself, and I thank him for being able to get me that opportunity. And it was just that was a big section of my life where I was able to start making those changes, where I was able to gain that work ethic back, and I was able to strive for some sort of greatness. And it happened for me there. Like, I remember the first time I was climbing a tower. Now, mind you, I don't think I'm a scared of heights at this time. I've been on roller coasters, I've climbed trees, I've jumped off the roof, I've done all that stuff, and I'm like, I'm not scared of heights. Boy, let me tell you what, go climb a cell phone tower and it feels 100% different than being on a roller coaster or climbing up in a tree. I don't care what anybody says, like, that's no joke. And it was like my third or fourth time really ever climbing, and I've never felt like a tower like sway. So most towers are just constantly kind of moving because the wind's blowing, so there's always some sort of sway. But depending on how strong that wind is depending on how much you're really gonna like feel it. This day was a little bit windy and it was a monopole, so it's just like, imagine like taking just big steel pipes and like stacking them on top of each other. Granted, they're like huge, and they're all bolted in, and it's bolted into a concrete pad that's on the ground. But this thing's swaying, and I get about, I would say about 60 feet up, and my knees my knees start buckling a little bit, and I just freeze. I climb back down, and I call my boss, and I'm like, I can't get up there. The tower's swaying, and like, I'm getting all shaky, and I just can't. Like, I'm almost in tears on the phone with this guy, because it's just like my body felt like I was gonna fucking die for a moment. I was perfectly fine. Don't get me wrong. Like, there was literally nothing wrong, but it was like I was scared shitless. I can't lie. And he tells me the work doesn't start till you get to the top. So if you can't get to the top of the tower, with all due respect, you need to start looking for another job. And my response to him was, no, no, give me one more shot. And the only thing that went through my head in that moment was, it's only been a couple weeks, you know. You just left home, Justin. You need to make something of yourself. You gotta do something. Are you really about to get fired 2 weeks into the job and go home empty-handed? Is that really what you're gonna do right now? Like, is that what you really want? And oh, hell no, no. That's that's not why I left home. I didn't leave home to not succeed at something, you know. So I said no, I'll get up there. Then he said, tomorrow morning, I want a picture of you from the top. And I said, all right, I'll be up there. Sure enough, next morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, sun's up. I'm on top of 250-foot tower, just up there, taking a picture of myself, and I never turned back. I mean, I started, my climbing excelled. I learned everything, literally everything. And I was a little bit of a foreman for a while. I did a little bit of kind of just jumping around. I was the go-to guy to either, go clean this up, go get all the right pictures done, or, we need material over here, go get it dropped off if you can. It was cool because it was like I busted my ass, was able to be paid well and be showed the respect that I wanted to see, and at the same time gain friendships that I will have for a lifetime. And I really have, you know. I've made a lot of friends from the road that I'm grateful for making, and they've helped me grow a lot too. There's a lot of moments we shared. I mean, there's moments we've cried to each other, we laughed with each other, gotten completely drunk and just messed up. I mean, we trust each other with our lives. It was a day to day thing. Like Like if I was climbing with you, you're my brother, man. If I fall right now, I'm looking at you to come save me. So, like that's the bond that we had. I left after a while just because the road life was real hard, and I tried coming back home. Can't make no money at home. But at this time, I've had enough experience and enough work ethic to kind of like help me out now. I'm no longer strung out. I'm no longer like dragging along. But I need like a job that's going to pay me well. I can't just get that minimum wage job and string on by. And so I apply for a utility company and I wind up getting the job. It's a travel job again, but not as excessive. I was home a little bit more when I was doing towers. I'd be gone for 2, 3 months at a time. Then I'd be home for a week. Then I'd be gone for another 2, 3 months. So it's like I missed out on a lot. A lot of times I felt really lonely and like I had nobody. I mean, I felt alone enough to where I bought a dog while I was on the road, just to give me that companionship of having somebody there. And so it's just like I didn't want to go back on the road after getting back home, but I didn't really have that choice. So I did what I had to do, and I stayed there for another 3 years, and that also taught me a lot of things and all that. I inspected the wood utility poles that you see literally everywhere. The ones that got the electrical lines on it and the communication lines on it. I did that for 3 years. I ran a and I was the foreman. I did all the inspection process. I would have a digger, I would have a treater, and we'd do our thing. We traveled to a couple different states, worked in a couple different states, and then stayed stationary in Florida for like the last 2 years that I was there. I got to work storm duty, like Ian came and rolled through right here in my hometown, pretty much. I feel like I grew up here, but rolled right through here, and I had the luxury of being part of restoring that power and getting everything fixed. And that was a hell of experience. In 16 hours a week. I mean, there was days I was up from 6 a.m. to 1 in the morning, and it was nonstop Monday through Sunday, and it was a good 2.5 months. It felt like 2.5 months. It was a lot, and then in this time frame, I had my third kid, and there's a fallout there. Things are better, and then I left. I left there because I needed. It wasn't a want anymore, because that's the difference when you kind of look at your life. You know, there's wants and there's needs, and it's at one point, do I want to be home and have my family and spend time with my family and be there for my kids, or do I need to be home? And it's I needed to be home, because at the end of the day, that's what I got. I got my kids. I get to see them grow up. I get to see them improve. I get to be part of their life, and I get to positively affect their life. And that's a huge thing. Um, so I bit the bullet and said, you know what? I know I'm going to go home, and I'm not going to, I was making $28 an hour. It was like so I knew I was gonna come home and I wasn't gonna make $28 an hour anymore. I knew I was gonna come home and I was going to struggle. That's what I knew. So I came home, and sure enough, I fucking struggled. I looked for a job and I couldn't find a job. It was literally I looked for 2 months and got this bullshit little bit of a sales job for like one of like the kiosk things or like booth things that you'll find at like Sam's Club. And I was just like really? Like, and I only stayed there for 3 days. I know my worth, and that place was not worth my time. Needless to say, I continued looking. Then I got a job, you know, setting appointments, finding the leads for a hurricane impact windows and doors company. And I was walking 10 miles a day, 12 miles a day. I mean, busting my ass. I mean, it's not hard, but I mean, you go walk fucking 12 miles and tell me how you feel afterwards. You're tired. And now on top of this, you're knocking on every single door you see, and you're just hoping somebody answers the door and they're not a douche. Forgive me, but seriously, like it's rough out there, and I'm talking we're in Florida, so it's not fucking peaches and cream, fucking 60 degrees outside. No, it feels like 110 and you're ready to die. I don't mean to seem so dramatic, but come down here to South Florida and it's a smack in the face. Love the state, nothing wrong with it, but it is brutal outside. And if you choose to go walk for 12 miles every single day for 8 hours a day, and then still choose to talk to people, like it's a lot. Like it's brutal. And I mean, you're fighting. You're damn well fighting to get these appointments. Like you're sitting there. It's first off, it's when you go and knock on somebody's door. It's they don't want to answer in the first place if they're not expecting company. Better yet, you don't know you need windows, so let me tell you that you need windows. Hey guys, I just I'm in the area. We're working a couple streets down. I see that you got the original windows here. It's only one layer there. You know, why not get this free inspection? Get a free quote that's good for the 2 hurricane seasons. Hurricane impact windows. Save on that electric bill. And this is double lifetime warranty stuff. So when if you sell your house, if you give your house to your kids, that these windows are still under warranty for them. If you get a nick, a scratch, give us a call. We will fix it. This is worth your time. You don't got to buy nothing right now, but come on, just get the free quote. It's a good quote. How many windows you got on the house? You mind if I take a walk around and count them for you? You know, that's what you're doing, and you're walking, and you're trying to do pretty much that at every single door. Any opportunity, like you're throwing out rebuttals, and you're walking around and you're getting fuck yous, get off my property. You get the no soliciting signs, you get cops called on you, all this nonsense that freaking happens. It felt earlier. But all right, needless to say, I did that for about 2.5 months, and I said, Justin, we're done doing this. We are done breaking your back for nothing. For nothing. Like, come on. I can go get a job anywhere and still make generally the same amount because I have experience. Why am I going to break my back? You know? Why? So I went ahead and did some more applying, went to a couple open interviews, stuff like that. Needless to say, found a company willing to hire me, help me get my health insurance license, and that's been the route as of right now, guess what? I actually kind of like it. I do. I'm home more. I'm physically home more. Like that's an awesome fit feeling. I'm not leaving to go to work. I mean, today I worked and my son was 5 feet away from me. That was a great feeling. And it's not saying that working from home is easy because no, it's not. Sorry that you guys keep seeing me look over there. I'm talking about work and I'm looking over at my work monitors. But needless to say, it's like the progression has happened, but I had to have my fallout. I had to fall hard, and that's not saying that I'm where I need to be right now, but that's saying I look back at my life and see all the struggles my parents went through, all the struggles I went through because of myself, all the struggles that I put my kids through, see the hardship of how much I really had to fucking dig deep, like fucking deep, to not fall down like everybody else like this, like, and it hurts me inside when I say that because I've lost fucking close dear friends because it just fucking happens like that. Like I can't explain that shit to you, man. Like was I caught up in nonsense like that before? Yeah, and I'm fucking grateful that I made my way out and that I'm searching to find answers to where I need to find answers. I want to fix myself. I want to help out everybody that I can help out, and I don't want somebody to be afraid to make those hard life decisions and really freaking struggle to get back to the top because it is 100% possible. And that's not saying my life is perfect or that I have everything that I need to have because I don't, but I am so much better now than I was 7 years ago. And I still have a long way to go. I still have so much I need to work on, but to think about, I have a health insurance license. I took the state exam. I passed it. Now I'm a high school dropout, okay? I struggled with school. I didn't like this stuff, okay? Like this wasn't me. Like I was the partier. Let's skip school. Like let's not do our homework. Who cares about freaking tests? That was the kid that I was. I left school and dropped out and I didn't tell my fucking mom. Okay? So it's like that little bit of going, okay, hey, let's push to fucking take a state exam and push to still better yourself. And this is after getting the experience from towers. This is after getting the experience from the utility company where and I was working with the utility poles, and it's a dangerous job just like the tower job. It's not an easy job. Gaining all this experience and it's going, okay, you know what? Let's You need to be home. You need to stop breaking your back because guess what? You only live once, Justin. So let's make the best version of you possible. Let's be the strongest person you can be. And let's be there for your kids and continue working at yourself, finding that knowledge, keeping your faith, and doing what you need to do every single day, regardless of how tired you are, regardless of how much everything freaking hurts. Like that's what it is about at the end of the day, every single fucking day. And sorry for my language, but I mean, it's just like I have struggled so hard to just be where I'm at right now, and I still have so much further to go, but nobody can take that from me. You know what I mean? Like I know people are out there that struggle every single day and they feel like they don't got anything left. But look at your life and ask yourself, what are you doing to improve it? Okay? Because no life is easy by any means, but ask yourself, where were you 5 years from now? Are you still in the same spot? And when I say the same spot, that doesn't mean your living situation's the best. That doesn't mean that you got your life figured out and it's all put together. No, that's not what that means. What that means is, where's your mindset? What are you doing actively to improve your mindset and to improve your surroundings so that your life can change? That's what I'm doing. And I'm sorry if I seemed a little bit aggressive there, but like I said, I've been thinking about my life all day today. I'm thinking about all the struggles I've been through. I've been thinking about what my mom's done and had to go through just to have us, better yet, provide for us her whole entire, like our entire lives. And she's got 4 kids and 3 grandkids, 4 grandkids, you know, like that's a lot. And she helps me out to this day all the freaking time, you know? So it's like, yeah, I got a little extra and I threw a lot of energy your guys' way, and I'm sorry if I seemed a little aggressive about it all, but like, come on, like if I can do it, anybody can do it, and that's the biggest thing. All right? And that's like I said, I am not perfect. There is so much more I still need to work on, but I can tell you what, every single day I am working on it. And I promise that. And whoever wants to talk, anybody that feels like they don't have anything left, I am here for you. All right? Because guess what? Everybody fucking struggles. Everybody feels down. And sometimes all they need to know is that there is a way out. And there is a way out. All right, guys. Thank you for your time. It's getting late. Good night. And I'll talk to you guys later. All right?